Good morning and welcome to my very first Ask Me Anything. Already my camera's like a little bit off. Okay, camera, let's like go up a little bit, okay? My eyes are up here, camera. My eyes are up here. Okay. Good morning. This is my very first Ask Me Anything. I have never done anything like this. I've only done live chats. So this is my first solo chat where I answer questions that patrons have sent in. And I'm excited to do it, but I've never done it before, so just bear with me. I am basically sitting here talking to myself, except I know you guys are on the other end, but still. Bobby said this is like an acquired skill, so I'm going to take his word for that and just assume like I'll get better as I go with these things. But I am excited because I know I've avoided a lot of questions, not intentionally. There's just a lot that I've received and haven't, I guess, had a chance to address. So I'll incorporate some of that too if I have time. But I guess without further ado, let's get into it. I am coming to you from the BVI, which is like one of my new favorite places because the mountains here are so cool. The terrain is unlike the Bahamas. I think there's a lot to do. There are a lot of people here. It feels alive, it feels vibrant, and the terrain is so stunning. 10 out of 10 recommend this place. If you've never been to the BVI, please make it your next stop. Okay, so I wanted to let you know where I am and what's going on. So I guess it's time. I am going to take a look at my Patreon and see what people are asking. I have not looked at these questions, which is probably a mistake. I'm nervous. I don't know what you guys are saying, and I'm about to just read it off. So, all right. Okay. Drum roll, please. All right. Question number 1 from Michael DeMaio. Thank you guys so much, by the way, for being patrons because I couldn't do this without you. You're supporting the effort 100%. So Michael says, what did you do for a living prior to this? I have sort of addressed this before by talking about my experience as an actress and production specialist in the film industry. I did everything from PA to produce films. I worked on a lot of commercials. So PA is a production assistant. I did a lot of film production and a lot of work in front of the camera. But that's not the only thing I've done. That's what I've talked a lot about because that was the bulk of my career experience prior to this. But I actually worked in events for a while. For the last 10 months before coming out here, I actually what was my job title? Culture and engagement specialist. I had a corporate job and I primarily oversaw events and nonprofit partnerships that this company had. And I have nannied before. I love kids, and I was a server for a long time. I worked for Louis Vuitton really briefly during the lockdowns when I was in school. I actually really loved that. That was fun. I mean, I loved it for a while. I was basically working at a call center, so like I didn't love it the whole time. But I needed something to do when the lockdowns happened because the film industry was just completely obliterated. So I started taking classes online, and then I wanted some like deals on Louis Vuitton. So I worked from home doing that just briefly. And then I got back into film once things picked up. And I really loved the film industry. My last job that I had, I really loved it for a while, but I felt very confined and trapped by that corporate job. I don't like feeling chained to a desk, and I just am an entrepreneurial spirit, and it felt suffocating a little bit. And it just didn't feel like, as much as I liked the company I was working for and certain aspects of that job, it didn't feel right. And this feels right. So that's kind of the long version of what I did before this. I cannot take 5 minutes to answer all of these questions, or else I will never I will never get to them all. So thank you, Michael, for asking. I'm going to move on. Ivor, I'm so sorry if I get your names wrong. There's just no way. Okay. I got a text just now. It kind of threw me off, and I want to check it because Bobby and my friends are currently like shopping, and I can tell they just sent me some stuff to look at that I might like, but I'm going to ignore it. I'm just going to move on. Have you ever been frightened at sea? That's question number 1. And it says, you and Alina seem to get on well. Are you hoping that she returns for another adventure? Those are great questions. Have I ever been frightened at sea? Yes. But the most frightened I was actually back in 2017, the first time I did this. I was nervous when we were in a couple small storms, and I wrote down, actually in my journal, I read it recently, I wrote down, I feel like the boat is a game of Yahtzee and we're the dice. I remember we were just being thrown around and the skies were dark and we were all a little uneasy, not knowing what was up ahead, but Bobby and Megan at the time, they had done this before. They were experienced and they knew it'd be fine. I remember it was on camera. It's in one of those episodes. I'm like frozen. I'm like, shouldn't we turn around? I was so nervous. So yes, I was frightened then. And there have been some other times, but I don't know if frightened is the right word for it, but just a little uncomfortable, a little nervous. In Thailand, there was a big lightning storm. It was actually beautiful, and it made me feel alive because it was just so cool and something I would never experience outside of this. So I actually was grateful for the lightning storm, but I didn't want our boat to get hit by lightning. In that moment, though, you can't do anything except for try to relax and accept what's happening. So it's actually like really good to practice that. Just accepting that you don't have control over a situation like that and watching a lightning storm. So really, I haven't been too scared. It was just in the beginning. There were a couple times that I was scared of those storms. Hopefully it stays that way. And then your second question, Alina. I would love for Alina to come back. She was just visiting when we were in Thailand. It wasn't a long-term thing. She has a job, and I feel like this camera's off a little bit. Ooh. Yeah, she has a job, so she can only come visit. And I did get along well with Alina. I would really love for her to come back. She's welcome anytime in my eyes. So maybe she will if she has the ability to take some time off work. Will Miller says, thanks for doing a Q&A, Amanda. Do you have any plans to visit Europe, to sail or otherwise? Would be great to do a meet in the Med or better still here in London. What is your favorite meal and drink? If you could meet anyone at all who is alive today and sail with them on the boat, who would you choose? Dang, I keep getting that question, so I really need to know. I need to pick someone. Darn. These are good questions. I just wish I knew the answers. Well, I know the answers to some of these. Europe, yes, absolutely. I've been to 14 countries in Europe, but I do plan to sail over there. And the Med is actually one of the places I'm most excited about. So I think it's actually going to be a while before we get to the Med, but it's in the schedule. We're planning to do that, and it's something I'm very excited to do. So yeah, maybe we could do a patron meetup or something there. That would be really fun. And My favorite meal and drink. I love food. It might not look like it, but I'm not even that picky. I love, oh gosh, my favorite meal. That's so tough. Why is it so hard? Sushi. I really like sushi, and I love Italian food. So maybe some sort of delicious pasta, like a seafood pasta. I don't know if that's my favorite meal. And then as far as drinks go, I do like coffee beverages, like espresso drinks. I love citrus juices like tangerine, nectarine juice. Alcoholic beverages, I'm really into seltzers right now. So if we're talking alcohol, I prefer like White Claw, Truly. High Noons are really good too. Now, if I could meet anyone, sorry. It's a little early. I feel like I haven't warmed up my voice yet. If you could meet anyone at all who is alive today and sail with them on the boat, who would you choose? Gosh. I've said it before. I think I would choose maybe someone who's funny, like a comedian. But I don't know who. Gosh. I wish I knew the answer to this. This is why I need to read these ahead of time. I mentioned before I'm a fan of this podcast called Red Scare. I would totally hang out with them. Anna and Dasha are their names. That could be kind of fun. I'm a Larry David fan. I don't know if having him out on the boat makes a lot of sense, but that could be fun. Who else? Like, who am I a fan of? Oh, there's some musicians that I really like. Back in the day, I was a really big fan of the Jonas Brothers. Like, I don't know. I really don't know. I need to spend some time thinking about this question because I've actually been asked a few times now and I never have an answer. It's just not something I really think about. So maybe next time. I think that's what I said the last time this came up. But next time, I'll have the answer for you. Glenn says, we are so glad that you and Bobby got together. You're like a breath of fresh air. This is really sweet. A question, not sure if we asked this before on another format, but anyway, this is from Jackie, my wife. Would you ever do a bikini shoot? My wife has done, oh wow, this is actually a lot longer than I thought it was. My wife has done 2 to 3 while on holiday. She did a very risque one, and I don't know how to read that. So if you do, make sure it's a well-respected company and make sure you feel comfortable, but it was still fun. I thought the bikinis were great, if not more attuned to the bedroom than the beach. I think it was a mixture of daring, not a few margaritas in the sun, and lots of people clapping and cheering that made her do it with 2 to 3 other women, egging each other on, getting more risque as it went. Okay, at least she got a load of free, if very micro bikinis. It was a German company. Always take care. Oh, one more question. We know it's early days with you and Bobby, but have you two any plans for the future? Ignore if too personal. Both questions are from my wife. I plead total innocence. Glenn and Jackie, this is adorable. So yes, I have done bikini shoots because I've done some print work, like modeling. And yeah, I felt very comfortable. It was all very professionally done. It wasn't really that risque. I may need to like post some of those actually for you guys. Some of my professional bikini shoots. I really want to do more of that. That would be so fun. I would kill to do Sports Illustrated or something. That'd be amazing. I've done a boudoir shoot. I'm very comfortable in front of the camera in that way, just because I've done professional acting and modeling. So that sounds like it was really fun, and I would absolutely do something like that. And the boudoir shoot I did was before I actually did professional modeling and acting, and it was with just a credible company. a reputable company like what you're talking about here. And I had a lot of fun with it too, and got some really sexy photos out of it. Now, for the second part of your question, it is early days with Bobby and me, but yes, we have loose plans for the future. So we talk about the future all the time, but like you said, it's early days, so I don't want to share anything like just yet. I don't think we even know what's going to happen down the road, but we have a great relationship and we talk about the future all the time. And we have loose a loose itinerary for our travels, and everything from like, you know, we've discussed marriage, kids, retirement, like we've really covered it all. But it's early days, so we'll see what happens. I'll keep you posted. That question caught me off guard. I'm like, how do I answer this? But yeah, right now we're just going with the flow, enjoying each other's company, and enjoying our adventures together. And we'll see what happens. So I'll leave it at that. Next question. Ian says, I know this is a probing question. Oh boy, okay. I know this is a probing question and understand if you don't want to answer it. Back in the day on season 1 or the past, have you and Bobby ever had a romantic relationship, even if it was very short-lived, or have you guys always been good friends? I can't imagine how a guy couldn't have resisted a beautiful girl like you. I guess he finally got it right, LOL. Enjoying the sincerity and authenticity of your posts. Always stay grounded as your channel grows. Thanks. Thank you, Ian. I will actually answer this question. Bobby and I never had a romantic relationship before now. And it was not for lack of effort on his part. He did want that. And I don't want to give too much away here, but it's part of why we didn't continue traveling together originally. I think he really did want to be in a relationship, and I do think he had feelings for me, and I didn't reciprocate those feelings until recently. So it didn't really make sense for us to continue traveling together. He was very respectful. He wasn't like pushing for it or anything. It just didn't make sense for either of us. It wasn't really fair. And I hate to say that, but I know he's mentioned it before as well, that like that he liked me before, and I shifted and changed a lot recently, the way I see him, and all of that has just changed completely. He's also changed over the years. We both have. So I don't know. It's like a timing thing. But no, we never had a romantic relationship prior to now. It's been a few months now. And I will move on to the next question from Bernie, who says, what happens to all your friends when away on the water? Ooh, I am actually having a hard time keeping up with my friends because, you know, I don't know what it is, but I need to maybe schedule some time in the day to connect with them. I just feel like I'm so immersed in the experience and just living in the moment every day. I mean, I'm working a lot too, but I am enjoying our travels and experiencing the world, and I have a hard time keeping up with my friends because I'm so present in this experience and on our adventures. I just love what I'm doing so much that it's almost like I don't want to put this the wrong way, but I don't feel the need to maintain my connections because I'm just enjoying my alone time with the world and with my online connections. I'm really busy working. I'm really busy traveling and collecting these amazing memories and experiences. But I miss my friends. I go through these moments where I feel really lonely sometimes because I'm not staying connected with everyone. So I need to make it a point to call people and just stay in touch, even though like throughout the day I don't feel like I have the time to reach out to people. I need to make the time. I think that's really what it is. I just need to make the time to stay in touch with my friends. I have lots of friends who are wonderful people, and I've been prioritizing like my travels and myself and my job. So I really need to make time for them. So thank you for asking that, because it actually evoked some thoughts for me. I need to prioritize them again. Now, James says, what all have you acted in? Okay, so mainly commercials. I'm going to pull up my resume. Here it is. I have been in lots of commercials. I did Ranch Water, AT&T. I did a car dealership commercial, a couple of the like law firm commercials. I did something for a brand called Comfy Mom, Orchard Valley, Dallas Community College, and then TV. The biggest things I did on TV were Dude Perfect, False Prophets that wasn't greenlit, and 1883. I did some other stuff, but those were the biggest things I did where I actually had lines. So that pretty much answers that question. So it looks like I have a little time left. I'm going to leave Patreon and go over to Instagram because there were questions asked during a live chat I did recently that I actually didn't get to, and I think this is the perfect time to address those. I had a lot. There were a lot of questions on Instagram, and I think it was just overwhelming. I'm going to take my cover up off. I thought I was going to want to wear this, but bye-bye. All right. We have lots of questions here. Someone says, Amanda, you are beautiful. Do you find traveling more fun than acting? First of all, thank you. That's very sweet. And it's not that one is more fun than the other. They're both really fun. I love both. And this kind of encompasses both. It's not like I'm acting. I'm being myself, very authentic here. But I still get to like be in front of the camera and also travel. It's not like anything scripted, of course, but I don't know. It feels like I'm like fulfilled in that way. Like I don't really feel the need to act right now, even though I love doing that as well. Something that acting and traveling have something in common for me, which is like every day is different. And I think that's something I really enjoy, is a lot of change. And that's why I think I'm drawn to both of those. And it's exciting. Neither of those are very conventional things. And I just love going against the grain. I don't want to do what everybody else is doing. It's not because I'm defiant. It's just because those are things I'm drawn to. And they happen to be not things everybody does. And I just want to pursue those things that I like. So, but they have that in common, that every day is different. I love that. I love that. What led you to be a sailing girl? Someone said. Oh, I never expected to become a sailing girl. I never expected this at all. Back when we met Bobby, it was my roommate and I met Bobby. My roommate briefly dated him, like very briefly, pretty casually. And she was going to come do Sailing Doodles. We met him before he started Sailing Doodles, and she was going to do it. We were going to break our lease, and I was going to go with her. And it was really her. And when I heard about his upcoming adventures and what their life would be like, I was in awe. I was like, this is for me. I want an adventure like this. I want my life to look like this. So I was ready to go. They broke up and still both encouraged me to go. So I did. And that's how I ended up on Sailing Doodles in the first place. But I was never into sailing as a kid. I always loved the water. I've always loved the water. We went to Florida a lot growing up, and it was always my favorite thing in the world, just being out on the water. I lived on a lake once, and yeah, I'm drawn to the water, but I never expected to become a sailor, but here we are. That's the story. I'll answer a couple more questions here. Are you and Dakota in communication at all? Yeah, we are. Dakota and I, we're actually going to do a Flying Doodles thing together, and I really like Dakota. She will, we'll kind of, DM each other on Instagram occasionally. That's kind of where our, friendship is at this point. We just, chat every once in a while, and then we're planning to do the Flying Doodles thing. So we're not, in touch all the time, but we stay in communication, and I think she's super cool, and I hope she thinks the same. So yeah, we're friends. We're friendly. I'm looking for another question to answer. Someone said, would you ever do OnlyFans for the money for early retirement? That's how the question is worded. I have definitely thought about it. But I don't intend to do OnlyFans. I intend to stick with Patreon. Where I'm going to take my Patreon, I'm not sure. I've posted some sexier stuff, but I want to keep it very classy at the same time. So, yes, I like posting that content, and I love that it could be lucrative. So, yes, but I think I would just stick with Patreon. I don't see myself going that direction. There's kind of a stigma around that, and I'm not trying to do all of that. I respect anyone who does. But I think I would just stick to Patreon or something. I don't know. It's not off the table. It actually sounds like a great career. Someone asked, how is my mom? She is doing a lot better. She's expected to make a full recovery. They just said it would take weeks to months. I mean, I've been taking care of her for the last 7 years. So full recovery, meaning she'd be back to where she was before the medical event that occurred recently that kind of set her back a bit. She's doing well, though. I have a whole care team in place. And when I go back after the Miami boat show to see her, I see her every month or so. I go back home to check in. I'm actually hiring a live-in caregiver as well. So we'll have part of the care team staying on, and then there will be someone who actually lives there full time. And she's happy. My mom is really well taken care of, and I make sure of that. And she's my priority in life. She's my number one priority. So she's doing well, and thank you for asking. Doing as well as she can be. She's in no pain, and she's happy. That's good for me. Someone asked how old I am and how tall I am. For some reason, I feel like it's a lot of personal information. I'm sure you did not mean it that way. But I'll say I am 30. So, and that's new. I just turned 30 when we were in Thailand. 30, flirty, and thriving. No, I'll tell you how tall I am. I'm 5'3.5", 5'4". I'm not sure. Somewhere in there. I need to measure myself. It's been a long time, but I think I might be 5'4". But I can look long. I'm a lanky 5'4". Sometimes people think I'm taller than I am, but I'm pretty short. Last question. Let's make this the last question. Someone says, how has your film/Hollywood experience enhanced or not enhanced your YouTube production? Huh. Well, I did learn how to use Adobe Premiere Pro, and that's really helpful because when I first tried to do all of this, I was not good at editing and it took so long. And now it doesn't take as long. And I kind of know what shots I need to get. And I'm better with time management. And, what else? I think I'm more comfortable on camera now too. But sometimes my brain will go straight to like how we operate on a scripted production rather than like Bobby has his workflow and like just this laid back kind of process, if you will. And I think if I didn't know how he operated, I might overcomplicate things, if that makes sense. Because I would try to follow a formula that we have for like really structured productions when that's not really what this is. That's a possibility. I can overcomplicate things at times. But no, I think it's benefited me because I learned how to edit. I know how to be on camera. I'm better with time management and whatever else I said. The other thing that I totally forgot. All right, I don't think I'm going to answer any more. I don't even really think there were any other questions. A couple of my friends wrote in. One was like, do you like grilled cheese? Like, yeah, I love grilled cheese. And another one asked what tabletop board games I wanted to play with them. And Scrabble. I like Scrabble. Let's play Scrabble. But yeah, otherwise, there's not really a whole lot left on here. I've had a lot of fun with this, and I hope that I answer all of your questions. And if there are any others you have, I'll be doing another one of these, I'm sure. So just save your questions for the next one, and I'm sure as I go, I'll get better at this. But stay classy, YouTube. I love you guys, and thank you so much for this lovely conversation.